Yeah. Go for it.
Good afternoon. I'm now going to call the Wednesday, October 16th, 2024 meeting of the Norfolk County Commission to order. On Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, Governor Healy signed into law Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act making appropriations for fiscal year 2023, which includes a 2-year extension of the option for public bodies to hold remote meetings by suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. That action was effective immediately, extending the current option for remote meetings through March 31st, 2025. Welcome. Good afternoon. If you join me in saluting the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Take attendance. Commissioner Stady,
I am present, sir.
Commissioner Collins.
Present.
Commissioner Shea is present. We have no executive session today. Number 4, minutes of the open session meeting of October 9th, 2024 for approval.
Okay. I'll move approval as presented.
Second. Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes of October 9th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Number 5. Appointment with Alzheimer's Association of Massachusetts to explain their upcoming, is it a fundraiser, so to speak,
It
this
is.
weekend? So I'm going to turn it right over to you, John, to introduce our guests.
Good afternoon,
Thank you.
Commissioners. Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Joining us today from the Alzheimer's Association is JC Settles. JC had reached out to us as a preemptive dialogue relative to their upcoming walk. I believe it's scheduled for October 20th this weekend. Is that correct, JC? At Foxborough. They're here to talk about that. The commissioners may recall about a year ago, you awarded funding to the Alzheimer's Association to assist them in recovering their lost fundraising opportunities during the COVID pandemic. Through your award, it has allowed the Alzheimer's Association to market and project this upcoming walk and its fundraising needs for this organization. So I just wanted JC to come in today, give us a brief update on what to expect this weekend for the walk, and to add any other details relative to the grant award that has been provided to Alzheimer's Association. Go ahead, JC.
Good afternoon, folks.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say a big thank you, and Rich and John. Rich, I have to say this to you because one thing personal, this time when we first met, we said we're going to help a lot of people. That is stick with me. My mom just lost her battle this past November with dementia, in which only further, puts the desire and the fire burning. So I want to say thank you very much for what you all are doing. It's just a quick walk update. Obviously, we just quickly met Jenny Andrews, who's my colleague, and the new Catherine, who you work with. And correct, the walk is Sunday, October 20th, coming up at Patriot Place. Just for little side details and numbers coming along, the site will open for all walkers at 8:30, and 9:45 is our Promise Garden ceremony, and then 10 a.m. is the walk, which is approximately 3 miles. The event itself, we're going to have, it's going to be a great family-friendly event. As you know, we're going to have face painting, Zumba, a tribute wall where folks can put up pictures of their loved ones that they've maybe lost or are dealing with it. We're going to have Pat the Patriot, as well as the Patriots cheerleaders there for festiveness. As far as the fundraising and whatnot, we have currently 1,070 walkers registered. We have 205 teams registered, and we've currently raised $286,686 towards our $418,000 goal, which is about 69%. And those numbers are obviously moving fast. As I talk, people are fundraising and signing up, and a lot of those, what we'll find out also on walk day, we'll get a lot of registrations there. So frankly, the numbers are what we see online, but those are actually moving and already frankly, just more as we get going. And lastly, one of the things I find that's very neat is we have over 100 volunteers that range from college students to high school students to volunteer organizations as well. So for me, as much as this impact for those walkers that coming there, you got a strong community support helping out on walk day. So keeping it short and sweet, we're in a good direction thanks to your efforts. And obviously we're expecting even a further jump, especially with the weather looking like it is. So other than that, just really just a quick update if that is okay. I know you have a wonderful meeting ahead. I don't want to be taking too much of your time.
You can stay for the whole meeting if you want.
I believe I'm dressed down because I'm literally at the warehouse. We're packing up. I have set up on Saturday, so I'm getting all my banners and everything in line. If it's organized, it's organized chaos, but it's just one walk. We do 12 walks as a whole in the chapter, but Nepon's it's pretty much one of our biggest ones. So I'm double, triple checking everything and making. I'm in this little closet making calls and doing whatnot to keep on track. But I certainly appreciate it. It is meaningful, obviously, for what we're doing to the community and even personally, especially this time last year, I had the yellow flower that we raised during a ceremony for a caregiver. Now I switched to purple flower for a lost one. And it's just, again, what you guys are doing for the community and awareness, it helps a long way. And as much as I'm staff, I've had to use our services. I've had to call our helpline, and I know if I can get that out to other families, it's only going to help everyone battle this disease. So from as a staff person and personally, two different people, I want to say thank you very much for your support.
Thank you. Commissioner.
Thank you.
If I may, thank you,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman. JC, I extend, I'm sure on behalf of all of us, our condolences on your loss. It is a pleasure to see you again, though, and it sounds like you had a great event. Unfortunately, I've got a conflict. I will not be able to attend. I would be there to support you, but it's going to be wonderful, and we want to hear all the good results afterwards. Give us a good report. So keep up the good work. And again, sorry for your loss here. But it's amazing how this all started over a breakfast meeting. We just started talking. It was in Norwood. I remember that. But, glad we were able to help you out. And of course, all of us extend our gratitude to you and our condolences.
And certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And that's why I reached out to John and you trying to touch base because my life, as you may have known and all that stuff, once something like that happens, it turns your life on edge. And then my parents are in Florida. So for me, even when we had the final approval meeting, I think last like October-ish, I remember being in the room next to my mom just before, and we approved it. And it's just, I had tears. You guys, if you go into recording, you're going to see me crying because it was the most wonderful thing knowing that we're going to help so many people. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day. And again, thanks a million times over. We'll see you.
Yes, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Okay, good luck, guys.
Thank you
Hope
very
it's a great
much.
day.
Thank
Take
you.
care. All
Have a
right.
great day.
So long.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Number 6, public comment. Each week at our meeting, we have a public comment session. If there's anyone out in Zoom land who has a public comment, now is the time to speak up. And Director Cronin, have you heard from anyone about public
Nope.
comment?
No, sir.
Okay, last call for public comment. Seeing none, I'll go to number 7, old business. I have no old business today. Commissioners? Number 8, personnel matters for consideration. Commissioner Sturdy.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, we have just a couple here. I'll move the following for approval and vote. First is the move approval of the notice of resignation for Madeline Groen of Boston as the animal science 4-person herdsman. And that was at the rate stated, and that's effective 10/18/24. So moved.
Second. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Next, I move approval of the notice of resignation of Edward McFarland of Plainville, Mass. as a substitute instructor at the Aggie School, rate stated, effective date 10/7/24. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Last.
And last, Mr. Chairman, I'll move the notice of promotion for Christopher Gill of North Attleboro as building maintenance 4-person, replacing Maurice Gilbert at the rate stated effective date 10/17/24. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
That concludes personnel for today. Number 9, payroll and expense warrants.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move the following. This is for the warrant list of 10/16/24. First, 25-15, move approval of the payroll of the county in the amount of $150,264.51. So moved.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Next,
Next, I'll move approval for the payroll of the school, 25-15, subsection 8, parentheses 8, in the amount of $380,123.35. So moved.
Second.
motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Third, for the expense of the county, I move approval of 10/3/25, the sum of $18,326.71. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
And last, we have an opera award going to the town of Medfield. This is on the warrant list 25-16, and the amount going to Medfield is $164,500. So move approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
All right, that's it.
That concludes payroll and expense warrants. Number 10, report on American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 Director Cronin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just very brief explanation as to the award that Mr. Commissioner Stady just read for the town of Medfield. This will fund mental health services for the citizens of Medfield to help assist with the increased need for health needs due to the impacts of the pandemic on the families in town. This is a revenue replacement category that funds an obligation that will carry forward through December of 2026. As we look at where Medfield stands in the grand scheme of things, I believe they have one more grant application in the queue or prepared for the queue. I spoke to their coordinator yesterday. It's about $170,000 remaining. So I expect we'll hear from them very shortly. This afternoon, the second prong of my ARPA report to you, I'd like to put in a more formal sense. I've been alerting the commissioners that I'm preparing a closeout presentation to you. I'd ask Mark to pull it up right now on the Zoom so other folks can see what the commissioners have in front of them. This presentation seeks to cover the work done to date to prepare the county for the financial end of the program, effective December 31st, 2024, when the obligation period closes, and take a peek into the monitoring phase that will follow. Mark, if you'd be so kind as to go to slide 2. If you go to slide mode 2, it might be helpful for the commissioners to see the picture in a bigger view. So a brief history. This slide may look familiar to you folks. Just a little over 2 years ago, actually make that 3 years ago, on August 23rd, 2021, the brief history of how ARPA came to the county started on March 10th. When President Biden signed the American Rescue Plan Act. May 10th, the Treasury launched a $350 billion Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds Act, which became ARPA. Over the next several months, the county commissioners assessed how to handle this program. You held 2 tri-county meetings with your peers in other counties. And on August 11th, 2021, you voted to authorize the hiring of our auditors as the primary and secondary firms to do the back-end work on each grant application, culminating with our first award to the town of Wellesley on December 1st, 2021 for $1.5 million. A lot's happened over the last 3 years. I will go to the next slide, Mark. So Norfolk County was awarded $137,282,760. Of that amount, the county set aside 3% or $4,118,482 for project and administration expenses. When you take a collective look at where we stand with the grand total, that $137 million is offset. Obviously, if you take the 3% out, it brings the amount available to communities down to $133 million. When you account for where we stand today with the amount of money out the door with an adjustment for the return funds, That's 125 million. So as of October 2nd, the county had approximately $7.99 million remaining to award. And certainly last week you made great gains with several awards that totaled over 2 million, plus today's, this number continues to drop.
So that's as of 10/2, right?
That's
These
as of
numbers?
10 too, but
Okay.
you made awards last week, so that number went down by that amount,
Yeah,
plus today, so it's gonna keep dropping.
right.
Next slide, Mark. So of this 7.99 remaining, 6.5 is currently under review for eligibility, which means we have active applications for all but $1.4 million, which is very good. We have communities that are very active. In fact, 9 communities make up 15 applications associated with that balance. You can see where the county's very actively involved in closing out the balance of these funds. The commissioners may recall that the county conducted a thorough closeout plan exercise to direct the communities to detail their plan to use their remaining allocated funds. These plans are approved by the county with a corresponding grant agreement extension. The county has full knowledge of each community's plan and currently does not anticipate any return of unspent funds. This could change at the last minute if any plans fail to materialize. I think we've been clear about that for the last month or so. This slide comes from our portal. It's automatically generated, so forgive me for the color disorientation, but it shows the distribution of funds or the allocation of funding to date. The vast majority is in infrastructure across Norfolk County, not a surprise, followed by supporting public health at 17.7%. The economic impact followed with 14.35%. Premium pay and revenue replacement followed. Incidentally, if you look at that purple slice at the top, just under $7 million has been allotted. The revenue replacement was a $10 million allotment. The commissioners may remember this was a hot button at the beginning of the grant. Many communities felt that they were entitled to the full 10 million. After much consultation with the U.S. Treasury, it was 10 million for the whole county. So we distributed that benefit across the county. And not surprisingly, we're seeing some surplus of that allocation or available for use in other communities. So it was high demand, but actually low utility. We're seeing a little bit of give back on that utility. So that's good. We'll use that to help communities close out where they encounter some difficulty with their grants. Speaking of the closeout, next slide, Mark. This represents the 18 what we call excess capacity applications that are sitting in the portal right now. These particular applications were solicited. We told every community back in the spring, if you have excess capacity projects that you want us to consider, put them in the portal. Put them in now. Don't wait. 18 applications have flowed. You can see the vast majority came from the town of Brookline. I think I've explained to the commissioners how Brookline is handling their program. They had a massive infrastructure built on the front of their program. They used all of their local ARPA funds to attend to most of those community needs, and then they turned to the county. So the county pieces are kind of picking apart or picking up where the massive Brookline community plan left off, and it's also reimbursing some of those programs. These particular Brookline applications are picking up areas where they're hoping to get reimbursed for expenses associated with awards that they made. But you can see the largest one is the town of Randolph. They have a very large tri-town water treatment plant that is going on right now. I don't know if that's a viable number. I think Brian put that in to capture all of the projected obligations associated with that, but hard to imagine us getting to that. But you can see there's a host of other ones, varying sizes. There are some as small as $71,000 in Brookline. Depending upon what kind of surplus we're looking at, we'll be looking to isolate eligible grant programs that can use up any surplus once these have been reviewed and ready for approval. Any questions on that?
Yeah, if I could,
Go
Mr.
ahead,
Chairman, is that all right? So this is the only towns that
That's
What?
submitted. Yep.
I'm surprised because truthfully, a couple of times I've been in Franklin for different reasons, and the administrator and the council were telling me they had all sorts of plans that they wanted to seek additional money, but they didn't put anything in.
It's not too late.
Okay, it's not too late.
No.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, I think they were one of the first ones that finished up, didn't they? Maybe?
Yeah, I'd put them in the
You
front.
know,
Yeah,
they were in the front there,
they were aggressive.
but they were like looking to get more.
Yeah, well,
Who's the town manager? He's on the.
Jamie Helen.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm surprised. That's all right.
Yeah, he's got about $8,000 left. He's got a small grant that we're working on cleaning up right now.
Okay.
But if you're inclined to notify him again, let him know. But
Yeah,
that's
but
what
this is
we're
right
saying.
now.
That's as of last
Oh.
week. Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, it hasn't changed much. Most of them entered their applications in the spring when our closeout memo went out. As you can see from the dates that are submitted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
All right, next slide, Mark. So speaking about the 3% set aside for administration county projects, this equates to 4.118 million in funding for the total cost of the grant program for the county through April of 2027, and funding project awards to various county projects. This breakout is really a combination of the administrative costs and projects, so it's all bundled together. Our administrative expenses currently project to be 1.545 million and will cover any salary and contractor related services. The next page, Mark. Now here you'll see where the current 2.5 million of that 3% is going. This may look familiar to you. All of the yellow highlighted grants have been approved. They're in various stages of expenditure right now. You'll note there are 3 of them that have a pink shaded or a coral shaded assignment. That's because they're still pending approval by Clifton Larson Allen. The first one, which was a new restroom on the golf course of $30,000. Although the project did not go forward, we still have an obligation to pay our architect for the work that they did to prepare that application. I just submitted the last piece of information requested by the architect today, by the auditor today. That should clear very shortly. You can see 192,000 was for the premium pay for county employees, non-school. We set aside $20,000 very early on. That was the first county application for COVID kits. We've expended almost all of that money, by the way. The next was facility studies by Habib for the Dedham Superior Dedham District Court projects, $29,000. That has been completed. We just talked to the Alzheimer's Association. You were awarded $127,890 to them last year. They're well underway expending that money. The financial literacy program for the treasurer's office has been awarded to a vendor. I spoke to the treasurer last week. He's engaged with her and putting together the program right now. The Dedham District Court Building Management System, $800,000. That particular project is out to bid as we speak. We expect the vendor to be awarded in the next several weeks. The next item was a premium pay for the agricultural high school. That was $119,000. The next one is $228,820 for miscellaneous air upgrades for Stoughton District Court, Rentham District Court, and Brookline District Court. This amount just landed last week, and so I'm expecting that work to be completed, definitely encumbered before the end of the year, but be completed over the next several months. Those are enhancements to the heating systems in each of those 3 locations. We have requested $225,000 for the Kemp Hall HVAC project. I just sent an email before I came into this meeting asking the auditors to expedite that. John Wallace is in the back, so I want you folks to know we're trying to move them as quickly as possible, because as soon as that light turns green, we can alert our procurement unit to get that out to bid. I don't want to waste too much more time as we get closer to the end of the year. We need to obligate those funds. The study that got us the $225,000 plan has been approved and expended. We expect to have an update from Patrick Higgins, who's helping me do the Wollaston Recreational Facility tennis court resurfacing. That placeholder is $300,000, but he's expecting to get the estimate from the vendor Friday, actually, October 18th. We have 2 requests from the sheriff's office in probate. Before I get to that, there was one item, Norfolk County vehicle and equipment needs. So the schools asked for facility equipment, our facility department asked for facility equipment, and the golf course asked for a truck. So all 3 have been approved. I spoke to Trish Bernard today. She's alerting each of the department heads that the quotes that they receive can now be acted upon, and they can actively start buying the equipment that they put forward. The commissioners may see a little bit of a hidden theme here. Some of these funds are made to be an improvised capital plan, because in FY 5, we don't have a capital plan. This is in effect giving them resources vis-a-vis ARPA to accomplish the same task. So they're getting some good equipment via ARPA. The next two, as I mentioned, one is for the sheriff's office. It's a grant of $100,000, and I believe that was for a vehicle, a portable vehicle to assist with healthcare services. The Norfolk County probate, they had submitted a $100,000 grant item that did not fly with our auditor, so we're actively working with them, and they hope to have a renew application to us by the end of the week. So as you can see, that's $2.528 million has been set aside, awarded, or is awaiting award against the $2.573 million. And as the call-up box shows, we have about $44,000 floating in unassigned grants. We do expect one more grant coming in from the Weights and Measures Program for prover equipment. I'm waiting for Bill Buckley to give me those quotes soon. But these funds should be starting to tighten up real soon.
Commissioner Stady.
If I may,
Sure.
through you, of course, the chair. Two things. The probate, 100,000. Do you have an idea of what they might be looking for?
We sure. If they take our advice, we advised they were looking for some kind of a transportation solution associated with their location and public transportation. There was many people walk that distance, and it was a burden. So we were looking to give them insight as to, we actually use the Aggie's bus contract and sent that along to them. The other option is translation services for individuals that use the court service.
Okay.
So it's up to them. We gave them a couple of quick hit ideas that would immediately fix the eligibility category, but we're hoping to hear from them by Friday.
Yeah, Colleen, as we know, has always said to us, the location's a challenge for
Right,
people taking the
Since
train.
day one, she's been concerned.
I think transportation was one. If I could, second point, if I may, Mr. Chairman, we've just talked about it. We haven't done anything. I know there's no vote, but we had mentioned Gilly House as a possible for helping them out. And also, I did mention, I think I mentioned it to you and you, John Cronin, Stoughton wants to come in and talk about the V&A program. I don't know if it's going to be through ARPA, but they wanted to talk about it. So
Right.
is there any, hate to say it, but is there any leeway in there in case we wanted to help out those organizations?
The door's not
before
closed, Commissioner. So
Okay.
in the event that either of those organizations have concepts or ideas that they would like to submit, we encourage them to do so.
Okay,
And just as a matter of just information, I think I revealed to you that the county does have a separate opioid grant program that we're
Right.
starting to get to, and I'll talk about that in just a minute under my director's updates.
right, okay.
Funding available there.
Bill Buckley had sent out something about Gilly House, but the dates, they didn't.
Yeah, we're trying to get them in here and
Right.
we're actively working with them.
Okay.
And I think we can put Stoughton on fairly.
I want to get, I didn't hear from the, I'm gonna actually reach out to the manager. It might be better to do that, but I'll try, get them in ASAP. Thank you. Thank
Isn't
you.
there something going on tomorrow in Stoughton that we're a bit invited to?
Oh,
Yes,
is it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'll look at it.
Chairman McCrisky invited you to an event.
Okay.
Groundbreaking. Okay, next slide, Mark. Regarding the closeout, we're planning for all funds to be awarded by December 1st. That's our date when we want the remaining 7 million awarded by. Don't think that'll be a problem at all. We'll continue monitoring each community's plan to obligate the funds according to the revised grant agreement deadline. The county will also utilize excess capacity grant applications to clean up any last minute available surplus. The selection will be based on the size of any surplus against the eligible grants that are pre-screened and ready for full occupation. Finally, on the second to last slide, Mark, if you could, monitoring. Thank you. So the grant monitoring actually has been carried out since the grant's inception. Monitoring includes the quarterly annual submission of grant expenses by each community, as well as more intensive review of each community's activities and controls. So the commissioners may be aware, I believe I've shown these to you in the past, our annual report is put up on our website, and it shows every grant award made by ARPA to each community with a description and a full amount. Though I believe we have 3 reports up there right now, we'll have a 4th, and we'll continue to do that. So that data associated with the awards is actually audited by Clifton Larson during their monitoring cycle. They also go in quarterly and they select 10 communities for more intensive review sampling of award records. They want to see that you followed through with the contracts, the obligation, the purpose to which the grant was awarded, as well as to make sure you were actually moving ahead with the grant. They also check on internal controls to make sure that the individuals associated with awarding the funds and following through with purchase orders are all well defined. Those grant activities will continue into the following 2 years. The monitoring phase will cover the final years of ARPA through December 2026 and into early 2027. So we've always known that the obligation period ends in 24. The next 2 years are the opportunity for communities to spend that money, to take the obligation and expend it by December of 2026. But in the spring of 27, we still have some reporting activities that we owe the federal government. So that's why some of the expenses associated with Clifton Larson will leak into early 27. That's why the date's up there. But functionally with the communities, everything shuts down December of 2026.
So the program ends, sorry. Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
The program ends 24. We know that, right?
No,
Well, I mean, the CARES is applying for grants,
correct, the obligation period.
obligation. Then they have like the 2 years to spend it.
That's right.
Okay. So when does the U.S. Treasury start their audit of us?
They can do it at any time.
Anytime at all?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
I see. They could pull out a grant that we gave in 22 or 23
They could.
and take a look at it.
They could,
Okay.
but more likely, our auditors, Markham, will be picking up samples based on our CFA filing. Now that we handle over $100,000 in grants, we're subjected to a federal grant review under our normal auditing program. So they'll start sampling many of these grants within our own audit cycle, starting. Actually, I think they started in this fiscal year.
All right. Good.
So we'll see more of that.
Excellent.
The monitoring phase, to wrap up the presentation, commissioners, will be more intensive than I'm revealing here. You'll probably receive another report from me or presentation in early 2025 once the ground rules of what functionally this looks like. And I want to give you a little bit of insight of what this means. It's not simply, calling Avon and asking them to give us a file or an update on a grant award or checking on their internal controls. It's more than that. When an award is made in ARPA for a particular purpose, say it's infrastructure, say it's $100,000 to do water sewer infrastructure, and you made that award to Stady Construction, but Stady Construction dissolved, it went out of business.
I'm not
And-
surprised.
And then, okay. And so the community comes back to us and says, well, we still wanted to get this work done, the same work, same scope. And we want to go to the next bidder, who was Collins Construction. And-
Also went under.
And we can take that obligation and move it from a vendor A to a vendor B within the monitoring phase, as long as the scope and the value don't change. These are nuances that are going to be very clearly defined by Clifton Larson Allen for our community, so that they can see that there's still some flexibility that we haven't been too widely broadcasting yet, because we want people to settle into what they're expecting to do. But clearly the federal final rule in the Treasury is signaling to communities that there is some flexibility, but you have to stay within these guardrails, and those will be made known to the communities.
So even
Next
more,
year.
if Stoughton, they had like a $5 million grant from us, right, about that, for their
Mhm.
fire station. And if one of those contractors or subs went under, they can assign it within it, as long as it's a fire station. But they couldn't do it, say, for the police station.
Correct.
Or a library.
Different scope. Yep.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
That's Good.
It's
good.
an area within the final rule that there hasn't been a lot of dialogue about, but we expect to let communities know that as they encounter problems. And with the volume of money and awards that you've given out, I don't rule it out. I think we may encounter some of those challenges. And
Mm.
they're gonna be tough, because there's a lot of review that goes on involving those things. So more on that in 2025. I'll report back in about 6 months to let you know what that program looks like. And we'll, of course, let our communities know that as well.
Yeah.
So that's it for
That's
the
good.
closeout. If we encounter any challenges or problems against the deadlines and plans that I've laid out, I'll let you know. And of course, we'll let you know how it's going right down to the last award. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent.
Any further questions about
Great job.
the closeout of ARPA?
Terrific job. Right.
More to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, number 11, ARPA warrants for approval. We did that. John?
Yes, sir, I'm all good.
Okay, number 12, report for the procurement department on bid openings and contract awards. Nothing this week.
Nope.
Moving right along, report of the county director.
Just a few updates, commissioners. We had a candidate that we we're going to interview this week for the plumbing vacancy. He withdrew. He accepted a
Oh.
position with the town of Needham. Our human resources department continues to recruit and solicit eligible applicants for that job. As I mentioned, I did ask Clifton Larson today to expedite ARPA application 1345, which is the Kemp Hall HVAC construction application. I will waste no time alerting our procurement unit in the schools as soon as that gets approved. Michelle McNulty, our labor counsel, has sent a request to our colleagues in AFSCME, looking for some dates when we can meet in the next month or two to set ground rules for our upcoming negotiations, which will, for all intents and purposes, begin likely after the new year. Contracts expire June 30th, 2025. I'll alert the commissioners how that progresses. And also, as Commissioner Stady alluded earlier, I'm underway working with Jen Levine from Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey's office for the round 2 opioid grant awards. Jen was kind enough to send me the list of 21 community coalition contacts. I've drafted a letter. She's reviewing it right now. We're looking to award $1,500 per grant this year, which is up from $1,000 a year ago. We have a little over $40,000 to disperse associated with that particular grant. So there is some capacity there, Commissioner Stady, in the event that entities like the Gillies House wish to apply as well.
Right.
All right,
That's great.
that's my update. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Good.
Any further questions of Director Cronin? Number 14, emergency items the chair did not reasonably anticipate would be discussed. The chair has none. I would say that we're scheduled today for a 4:30 meeting of the school board,
Right.
regularly monthly meeting. And we're going to start at 4:30 PM, Commissioners, so
Long one.
we'll go across 109 or 1A, whichever
Okay.
most direct. Last call, anything else? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
All right. I'll move we adjourn at 1:39. Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
This meeting is adjourned.
Excellent. Well done. Don't make a baby for it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Safe travels, by the way.